Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Radha Nila Madhava Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai Chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra Ki Jai Gaura Premanandi Haribo Haribo. So I have some good news today. One time Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a little bit worried, and he was speaking to Haridas Thakur, and he said, Haridas, he said, how can we help these milechas? He was referring to the Muslims. And Haridas said, oh, don't worry. He said, what do you mean, don't worry? He said, they're actually making spiritual progress. He said, really? How is that? He said, they say all the time, Haram, Haram, Haram. They're chanting the name of Lord Ram. So we shouldn't worry about the Muslims anymore. They're making spiritual progress also. Okay, so I'm going to read something interesting today from the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, of course, is the quintessential, most wonderful text if you want to know something about Krishna, because Bhagavad Gita is Krishna answering all his questions, all of Arjuna's questions, and basically explaining who he is. So if you want to know who Krishna is, you read Bhagavad Gita. You don't have to read any other book. That's how powerful this book is. So today I wanted to read one verse. Tribir guna mayer bhav ebe sarvamidam jagat mohita nabijanati mam ebya param avyayam. So maybe we can repeat. Tribir guna mayer bhav Tribir guna mayer bhav ebe sarvam idam jagat mohitam nabijananti mamebhya param avyayam. And this verse says, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So this is a very interesting verse which explains why most people, it doesn't matter whether they're Hindu or Christian or Jew or this or that, as long as we are under the influence of the three modes of material nature, goodness, passion, and ignorance, we will not be able to understand Krishna. You might say, well, what's wrong with goodness? I thought it was something good. But it is good. It's better definitely than passion and ignorance. But oftentimes people in the mode of goodness think they've already reached the highest pinnacle of spiritual advancement, and that they haven't. There's something called transcendental goodness. Yes, that is what we're aiming for. But most people, they're satisfied with just goodness. So what's the difference between transcendental goodness and just goodness? Well, just goodness means one is satisfied with the nice home, the nice car, the nice kids, the nice wife, the nice husband, the nice relatives, the nice food, the nice this, the nice that. And they're not interested in going any further than that. That means that they're not really interested in going back to Godhead. There was one friend of mine, a Hindu friend of mine, and one day he told me, he said, even if there is reincarnation, I want to be reincarnated in what's Medina, right? Which is a neighborhood of very high income homes. So he said, I want to keep being reincarnated in Medina. So, again, you see, that's the difference between someone who's in the mode of goodness and someone who's in the transcendental mode of goodness. In transcendental mode of goodness, one does not want to be caught in the cycle of birth, death, old, and birth and death eternally. They want to escape that vicious, let's say, pattern. Birth, death, birth, death, birth, death. They want to be liberated from that and go back to Godhead. But to go back to Godhead, you have to have the spiritual knowledge to do that, and spiritual practice. Knowledge is not enough. There has to be actual practice. Practice makes perfect, they say. So what is that practice? Well, it's what's been going on since the most earliest times in Bharat. You bow down in front of the deity. You offer your food first to Krishna, and then he offers it back as his prasadam. You chant the holy names of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You regularly come to the temple with your children, the whole family, as it says, a family that prays together stays together. So, therefore, regularly coming to the temple is very important. Now, I was born in a Christian family, but my great auntie, she used to take me every Sunday to church. And she also taught me Christian prayers that I had to say before I go to sleep at night. Now, there are many families where that type of culture is there. In India also, where the children are taught mantras to say before they go to sleep, and children are taken to the temple on a regular basis. Whether it's the father or the mother or the whole family, they go together. And if the family that prays together stays together, so it's better that just the father or just the mother doesn't take the child. The whole family should go. And in this way, children that grow up in a family like that, it becomes their culture. Culture means how you do something. So the best way to do things is to go regularly to the temple, learn the bhajans, and chanting, and learn to chant Hare Krishna, learn who Krishna is, what Krishna likes, how to please Krishna. Our whole life should be focused on how to please Krishna. So Krishna is not a statue. He's not something that's like you would say an idol. Whether Krishna is in the form of the deity like we have here, and by the way, it's very beautiful, and so is Srimati Radharani, very, very beautiful. If you can remember the beautiful form and the beauty of Krishna and Radha and Krishna at the moment of death, you go back to Godhead. But practice makes perfect. You can't say, well, I'll do all the nonsense, and the last minute before I die, I'll think of God and go back to Godhead. It doesn't work like that. See? There was one Mexican man, he was always drinking tequila. And then one day, he he was drunk, and he tripped, and some car ran over him, and they came with the ambulance, and And the last thing he said was, tequila, and he died. You say, because that's his culture, tequila. So we have to be careful ourselves. We should always have the names of Krishna on our lips. We should always be chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And we can always chant like we just did now, or we can also chant in our mind, you know. But we should always have the name of Krishna and always thinking about Krishna, because we don't know when we can die. And if there's an accident, or if we have a heart attack or something like that, we should be able to remember Krishna in order to go back to Godhead. Now, what is the success in life? Everyone wants to be successful. You know, they think success is like Elon Musk and George Soros and all these people who have millions and millions of dollars. That's not success. Success is how to live a spiritual life and remember Krishna at the moment of death and go back to the spiritual world where there's no more birth, death, old age, and disease. That's real success. So we should think about these things. What is success? Children today are not really taught what is success. Yeah, they're taught, well, you have to have good grades, and you have to pass the SAT test, and you have to get into MIT or Harvard, and you have to get a good job, and no, that's not real success. All those things are temporary. All those things will disappear at one point. Real success is how to prepare yourself to go back to Godhead, to return from the place that we came from. We were all originally with Krishna. Now let me ask everybody a question. Do you remember being with your mother when you were born? Anybody? Huh? Do you remember being with your mother when you were born? Sir, do you remember being with your mother when you were born? No, you don't remember. Would you deny being with your mother when you were born? No, you can't deny it, and you can't remember it. That's exactly where we are. We were originally all with Krishna, but we can't remember. Right? So when you come to the temple and you hear Bhagavad Gita, just like I'm going to read some Bhagavad Gita now, and you see the deity of Krishna, and you chant Hare Krishna, and you dance, and you take prasadam, little by little your remembrance of being originally with Krishna in the spiritual world will come back to you. Because that's where we came from. We're not, we don't believe Darwinism. You know, we all started like a one amoeba. Where did one amoeba come from? Who knows? There was maybe it was at the North Pole and it got zapped by lightning, and the first amoeba came up. You know, it's all nonsense. These are all nonsense theories. They don't know how it happened. But yet they claim that they're scientists. They claim that what they're teaching is science. It's not science. It's all speculation. When you hear these scientists speak, they said, well, it may be like this, it may be like that, and another 20, 30 years we'll do this and we'll do that. Or you have Elon Musk says, well, another by 2050 we will, death will be, what do you call it, optional. If you want to die, you can die. If you don't want to die, you're not going to die. This is all nonsense. These are all crazy statements being made by all these big people. They know it's crazy, but they're giving false hopes to people. One day, there was this one lady I was speaking to who had a PhD, and she told me, my only prayer is that when I die, there's nothing. I said, how do you know that? She said, well, that's my point. I don't know it, but I really wish that there's nothing when I die. Well, see, that's what the atheists have. This is their hope against hope. Their hope against hope is that they can live one life, and when they die, there's nothing. Right? They're not subject to any karma. There's no God. There's no heaven. You just die. Therefore, and this is what they teach kids today in school. Have you ever heard this phrase, you only live once? You hear that? Yeah? That's a lie. It's not true. And when you die, there's nothing. It's another lie. That's not true. We are subject to birth and death, but it only refers to our material body, not to our soul. And the next body we get depends on the consciousness we have, and the karma that we have at the moment of death. So we have karma by our actions in life, which is usually a mixed bag of good things and bad things. And we think of something at the moment of death. For most people, it's their 401k, or who's going to get my car when I die, and things like that. You know, very, very trivial things. And therefore, they take birth again, often as animals, sometimes, depending on how sinful they were, they'll take birth as insects. Why do you think there's so many living different species in the world? Especially crows. I see a lot of crows here in Sammamish. They're the same crows as in India. They look exactly the same to make the same noise. You see, who becomes a crow after they die? Oh, those are people that are very interested in only material things. So in the next life, they become a crow, because a crow, they eat dead things. Dead bodies in the street. Like you get cats or dogs that are going to run over, and crows come and eat them. Right? Because when they were a human being, they were eating hot dogs, hamburgers, and it's the same thing, whether it's a hot dog or hamburger, or it's a dead bird in the street. It's the same thing, you see. So we have to learn not to live like crows and not to have tastes like crows, but to live like a real human being. A real human being has the following qualities. They eat, they sleep, they defend, they reproduce, but they have faith in God. And a person that looks like a human being but is not a human being, they only eat, sleep, mate, and defend, and no religion. Those people are not really human beings. Why? Because that's what animals do. They eat, they sleep, they mate, and they defend. Almost 99% of the people in the world today, human beings, just eat, sleep, mate, and defend. So what's the difference between them and the animals? That's what the animals do. The differentiation between an animal and a human being is the human being can find out who is God. The animal cannot do that. Yeah, human beings eat, sleep, mate, and defend, but they also have the possibility, because of human intelligence, to find out who God is how to please God, how to serve God, how to become eligible to return to the eternal abode where we all came from. We were all originally with Krishna. We just can't remember it today. But we have the yearning to go back to Krishna in the form of, I don't really want to die. I would like to live eternally in a healthy body. Well, that's not possible because the body is different than the soul, and the body is subjected to the laws of nature, whereas our soul is eternal. It's not subject to the laws of material nature. But most people don't believe that they have a soul. So here comes my good friend, Mr. Ramdas, a very nice friend of mine. You can all pet him. Here he comes. Jai Ramdas, Hare Krishna. Thank you for bringing him. Whenever I lecture in the temple here, I always invite Ramdas to come. See, it's very important to associate with cows. Why? Oh, by the way, we have at least about 80 cows in our farms. We have 3 different farms. We get our own milk. And if you haven't tasted our milk from our cows, you're missing something that's really wonderful. We have the best milk in the world. Doesn't taste like the milk that you buy in the stores. It tastes much, much better. Because our cows, we never kill them, and we treat them with love and devotion. And here you see one of our cows. Ramdas is from the miniature cow, zebu cow. And he's very gentle. He really likes human affection. You see. And how do the cows express their affection? They lick you. Right. So it's very important that kids especially should associate with cows, because once you put them in the demon schools where they have their lunch, and on the lunch plate they put a piece of meat. And when the kids have grown up in the temple, they see the correlation between the piece of meat on the plate and Ramdas, and they say, "Wait a minute, I'm not going to eat that thing, because I love cows." You know, so it's important. It's very important that kids see Ramdas and have relationship with cows. And Krishna himself was a cowherd boy. So if you take care of cows, Krishna will take care of you. And if you can't, if you don't have a farm to take care of cows, you can come to our farm and you can serve the cows there. We have actually 3 farms, and we have cows at all 3 farms, and they're so wonderful. So therefore, it's important to maintain Sanatan Dharma. Sanatan Dharma means you protect children, you protect women, you protect cows, you protect elderly persons. That's real culture. So we want to go back to that real culture where we become aware of the fact that every living being has an eternal soul. And we should protect living beings, not kill them and eat them, especially a cow. You know what happens to you eat a cow? You take many births as there are hairs on the body of the cow. Now here's Ramdas. If you want to try and count how many hairs he has on his body, You can try right now. You will take birth as many times as there are hairs on the body of the cow. That's how serious it is. Very dangerous thing to eat a cow. Of course, all the big idiots all over the world are eating cows. Even the Indians are eating cows now. I can't believe it. Even the Indians in India are eating cows. Usually you think, oh, well, the Muslims eat meat, but, we don't. No, that's not true anymore. The Indians eat meat as much as the Muslims do. I have a Muslim friend, and one day I was talking to him, and I said, well, what do you do to have fun? He said, oh, well, we do some shairi. You know what that is? Yeah, it's a certain type of singing, Huh? Poetry, yeah. And he said, and a lot of Hindus come to my shairi program. I said, really? He said, yes. But I have to tell you a secret. I said, what's the secret? He said, they don't really come for shairi. They come for my wife's kebab. He said, my wife makes the best kebab. And your Hindu people come for her kebab. See, now this just shows you how much the Vedic Dharma has become corrupted. And really, it's very sad because people don't understand. You protect the cow, Krishna will protect you because he's a cowherd man. He has cows. And he will protect you because you are protecting a cow. So that's why we bring Ramdas. So you should see, here's such a gentle animal. It's not like a dog that runs around, not like that. Ramdas is very sweet and gentle. And he knows one thing. He knows we're never going to kill him. That's the tragedy of today, that cows are being killed massively in the United States, all over the world, even in India, and people are eating them. They don't realize, as I said, the karmic reaction for such a thing. Okay, so today's verse from Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Grantaraj Ki Jai. Chipir Gunamayer Bhaver Ebe Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mam Ebya Paramavyayam. All right, we'll chant that again. Sanskrit is very beautiful, especially when it's chanted. Tribhir Gunamayer Bhaver Ebe Sarvamidam Jagat Mohitam Nabijanati Mamebhya Param Avyayam. Param Avyayam. Okay, now you can repeat after me. Deluded by the three modes. Goodness, passion, and ignorance. The whole world does not know me, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So here's Krishna speaking to us. Bhagavad Gita was, the first time it was spoken was 120 million years ago. And then it was spoken several more times over history. The last time it was spoken was 5,000 years ago, when Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Bhagavad Gita, it's not like the Bible. The Bible was spoken 2,000 years ago. Or the Quran 1,500 years ago. Or the Buddhist things 2,500 years ago. Actually, the history of Bhagavad Gita is eternal. It was originally spoken by Krishna way before 5,000 years ago, way before that. So here we have the oldest book in the history of the world, and we're still reading it. It's still relevant. It's not, oh, that's all old-fashioned. No. Everything in Bhagavad Gita is pertinent today. More pertinent than all the nonsense people are reading today. So it says, deluded by the three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, the whole world does not know me meaning Krishna, who am above the modes and inexhaustible. So Srila Prabhupada, our Gurudev, who's sitting right there, the A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, writes, the whole world is enchanted by the modes of material nature. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand the transcendental to this material, one second, cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Now, that's a very profound statement. First of all, let's see, what are the three modes of material nature? They control us as long as we have material aspirations. We will be controlled by these three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Now, obviously, the mode of goodness is better than the mode of passion or rajas, and ignorance, tamas. But it is still not good because we remain attached. Like, there are people who say, well, look, I don't lie, I don't cheat, I don't do bad things, so, I don't go to church or I don't go to the temple, but I live a clean life. Well, let's say he's living in the mode of goodness. That's not enough to go back to Godhead. One has to actually engage in acts of love and devotion for Radha and Krishna. Now here's Radha and Krishna. They're right here. They're very beautiful, the eternal couple. Without offering service to them, we'll never be able to liberate ourselves from the cycle of birth and death. So, therefore, even a person in a mode of goodness, it's good, but it's not really good because you're still conditioned by the material nature. That's the whole point. These three modes, goodness, passion, and ignorance, condition us to stay in the material world. So, a person in a mode of ignorance is smoking marijuana or taking fentanyl, things like that. And a person in a mode of passion is making a lot of money, and having a lot of sex, and having good clothes and nice cars and things like that. And the person in a mode of goodness is, goes to church or comes to the temple, but they're all attached to material things still. They haven't lost their attachment to materialism. Obviously, the mode of goodness is better than passion and ignorance, but it's still not good enough to go back to Godhead. Then what is it to go back to Godhead? You have to attain transcendental goodness, Suddhasattva, transcendental goodness, where you have no longer any attraction to material things. Now, that doesn't mean you walk around naked and sleep in a garbage can. What it means is that you understand that everything belongs to Krishna. Your body, your mind, your car, your family, everything belongs to Krishna, and therefore everything should be used in the service of Krishna. That is real Sanatan Dharma. This is what made India, or Bharat, the richest country in the world, because people were actually following Sanatan Dharma. So, to become eligible to go back to Godhead, we must practice Krishna consciousness, and that practice is very simple. Before you eat, you cook the food, and then you offer it to Krishna, and you cook only sattvic things like meat, and not meat, like milk and vegetables and so forth. And then you offer them to Krishna with nice prayers, and then Krishna will offer it to you back as prasadam. And prasadam means the mercy of Krishna. Why? Because you're recognizing the ownership of Krishna. He is the owner of your house. He's the owner of your body. He's the owner of your life. We don't own anything. Everything has been given to us by Krishna. The birds, the bees, the fruits, the flowers, everything is given to us by Krishna. We didn't make any of those things. So therefore, we should offer everything first to Krishna. Now someone will say, well, okay, well, maybe I'll offer some marijuana to Krishna. No. We can only offer Krishna those things that he wants. There are people that do that, though. I knew one gentleman, he used to dress just like a sannyasi, and he had a little following, and they would smoke charas, or marijuana, right? But first he would smoke it first, so it would be blessed, and then they would give it to everybody else. It's a bunch of nonsense, right? And he would dress just like a sannyasi. So, stay away from people like that, because they're really dangerous, really, really dangerous. So here we have the opportunity of the human body. You don't realize how rare that is. To reach the human form of life, we had to go through 8,400,000 species of living entities to come to the human form of life. And if we don't use the human form of life to understand our relationship with Krishna, we go back into that cycle of 8,400,000 species before we come back to the human form again. So therefore, you should realize how rare it is to have a human form with human intelligence, and how rare it is to be born in a family that has spiritual, let's say, culture and a chance to follow Vedic Dharma from the beginning of life. So when children grow up in a family that is eating only Mahaprasadam, that is always chanting the names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. They're talking about Krishna's pastimes, how he lifted Govardhan Parvat, and how he did this and how he did that. This is the way, this is the culture in which children should grow up in. Not, listening to different types of music and learning how to smoke marijuana and so forth. That's all nonsense. Our children should grow up in the culture of Sanatana Dharma. And that way, they're protected by the mercy of Krishna. The best life insurance is to become a devotee of Krishna. That's if you really want to be protected. What's that? Yeah, it's eternal. It's eternal. So, this has to be taught to our kids. They should see, just like here now the kids are coming, they're petting Ram Das. Now tomorrow, let's say they go to school, and for lunch at the school, they give them a piece of meat. Do you think they're going to want to eat it after seeing Ram Das? I don't think so. I don't think so. Because they'll make the correlation, wait a minute, this piece of meat that comes from a cow, but I love ramdas. I'm not going to eat it. See? That's why we bring them here. The kids from an early age to see how wonderful the cow is. Notice we don't bring the dog here. See, even Ramdas's stool is considered pure. His urine is considered pure. Everything about the cow is pure. But if we bring the dog, his stool is contaminant. It's not pure. His urine is not pure. You see, there's a difference between the cow and the dog. Right? That's why we have to learn the culture of Sanatan Dharma. It's very important, very important. Now let me ask, and anybody have a question they would like to ask? Anybody have a question? No questions, no answers. Come on. Someone should ask a question. Yes, go ahead. Eternal. You want to know more about it? Well, you and your husband and you should follow their example. Become an eternal couple. There are eternal couples in the spiritual world. First of all, there's Radha and Krishna. That's an eternal couple. There's Sita and Ram. It's an eternal couple. There are many eternal couples in the spiritual world. So you should act in such a way to please Radha and Krishna, then you and your husband would become an eternal couple also. It's not that, you're going to die and they'll cremate you and that's it. No. You have an eternal soul and you have the potential of becoming an eternal couple by practicing Krishna consciousness. So, you see, most people don't believe that they have an eternal soul. They don't even believe they have a soul. They just believe that, they're a piece of meat or something. But everybody has an eternal soul. And that's who we really are. And we have the opportunity of nurturing the material soul so that at the moment of death we can remember Krishna and go back to Godhead. So that should be the goal of the husband and wife. Not just to live with each other and eat and sleep and mate and defend, but to actually prepare both husband and wife, practice Krishna consciousness so that at the moment of death they can both go back to Godhead and be an eternal couple. You see? So, by the way, in the spiritual world, there's no divorce. Okay, so the whole world is enchanted by the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Those who are bewildered by these three modes cannot understand that transcendental to this material nature is the Supreme Lord Krishna. Every living entity under the influence of material nature has a particular type of body and a particular type of psychological and biological activities accordingly. There are four classes of men, meaning men and women, functioning in the three material modes of nature. Those who are purely in the mode of goodness are called brahmanas. Those who are purely in the mode of passion are called kshatriyas. Those who are in the modes of both passion and ignorance are called vaishyas, and those who are completely in ignorance are called sudras. And those who are less than that are animals, or animal life. However, these designations are not permanent. That means if you're born in a Sudra family, but you get proper spiritual education, you could become a Brahmana. That's what it means. It's not with the false Hindu concept that is actually a perversion, that if you're born a Sudra, that's it, for whole life you're a Sudra. That's not true. That there was a false narrative created by greedy Brahmanas who wanted their children, whether they were qualified or not, to be Brahmanas. But that's just like a father who's a doctor and the son is smoking marijuana and is basically a nonsense person. That just because the father is a doctor, that type of son doesn't become a doctor. He's not a doctor, right? So in the same way, it doesn't matter what family you're born in. It doesn't matter what caste you may have. The castes are not something that are, let's say, impossible to change. Everything in the material world is there's an opportunity to make progress through education and devotion, and above all by associating with genuine devotees. Therefore, if you want to make spiritual advancement, you have to associate with genuine devotees. And then it doesn't matter which family you were born in, what caste you have, or what. You'll get properly educated. You'll develop let's say, habit of worshiping Krishna, chanting Krishna's holy names, eating Krishna prasadam, and coming on Harinam Sankirtan. Today there was a very big Sankirtan. We had over 100 devotees chanting and dancing in downtown Seattle. You should come out and do that. Actually, we should take Ram Dass also. You should definitely take Ram Dass. It's better than taking a dog. Right? So here we have a chance, by coming to the temple. It doesn't matter what caste you are. Like I would be considered no caste because I'm not Hindu. I was born in a meat-eating family. So I remember several times when I was in India, I tried to go into a temple. They wouldn't let me in. They said, no, you're not born in India. You can't come here. Yeah. By the way, we don't do that here. We invite everybody. Because everybody has a chance to become God conscious or Krishna conscious. Everybody comes originally from Krishna. We're all part and parcel of Krishna. We all originally were Krishna, but because we have limited free will, by misusing that limited free will, and what is the limit? Either you accept Krishna or you reject Krishna. That's our limited free will. If you accept Krishna and follow all the rules and regulations and actually develop love for Krishna, you go back to Godhead. If you refuse to accept Krishna and just engage in the material activities, you will die and take birth again. And the next birth is not guaranteed to be human. You could fall back. Depending if you did a lot of sinful things, you could fall back to become a cockroach. Say, nowadays, cockroaches are becoming pretty, let's say, part of the culture. They fry them, and then they powder them, and they call it, XYZ protein. And they use that as a protein supplement, powdered cockroaches. Right? But they don't say cockroach. Even that word sounds funny, bad. Cockroach. They give something like ZX53 or something like that. Right? But it's a cockroach still, and it's powdered, and they're putting it into food. Why? Because they say cockroaches have a lot of protein, and they're not very expensive. They have cockroach farms now, growing them. You have to be careful what you eat. You have to be very careful today what you eat. So, we need to become very serious about following Sanatana Dharma. Above all, no cockroaches, no meat, no fish, no eggs, and no intoxication, no illicit sex, no meat eating, no gambling. You have to get rid of all those things. I once told a gentleman, he said, "What's your religion about?" I said, "Well, we have do's and don'ts." He said, "Okay, what are the don'ts?" I said, "No meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and no gambling." He said, "What? Stop right there. Those are the only things that give me pleasure in life." I said, "Sir, you don't know what real pleasure is." He said, "Okay, well, tell me what the rest of it is." Well, then, the rest of it is the good things. You chant Hare Krishna and dance and eat very nice prasadam or food, and you hear uplifting things such as Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, and you associate with very nice people who have self-control and respect. He said, "Well, I really like to eat meat." Well, I told him, "Look, you're going to end up becoming a piece of meat if you keep going like that, because you'll take birth as some kind of a animal, and you'll be killed and eaten." I said, "You don't realize how serious it is to kill animals and eat them. You'll take birth as many times as there are hairs, especially on the body of an animal." So I said, you have to be very careful." He said, "Is that true?" I said, "Yes, it is. If you kill a cow and eat it, you'll take birth as many times as there are hairs on the body of the cow, and each time you will be slaughtered also." So, this is ignorance. Children are not taught this. Adults are not taught this. Nobody taught. Did any of you ever hear this before? That if you eat a cow, that you'll take as many births as there are hairs on the body of the cow and be destroyed or be killed in the same way. Have you ever heard this before? No? That's how serious it is. We should hear it. We should know how dangerous it is to do something like that. Right? But these are the laws of material nature. This is not taught in schools. This is real science. Cow protection, not cow killing. The countries that kill a lot of cows, there's a lot of violence in those countries, like the United States, like Russia, like Ukraine. Why do you think they're killing each other? The Russians and the Ukrainians, they have the same religion and almost the same language. Not exactly, but very close. They've been living together for at least 1,000 years. Right? And they're killing each other. Isn't that interesting? It's like the same religion. They both have the Orthodox religion, Christian religion. There's a lot of intermarriage also between the Russians and the Ukrainians. So why are they trying to kill each other now? You see, you should ask these questions. How are these things happening? It's because of evil politicians. They make a type of narrative. Ukrainian good, Russian bad, you see. Or Pakistani good, Hindu bad. This is all nonsense. And we have to keep a great distance away from those type of narratives. There was once a man that I met. He was an Armenian gentleman. And I asked him, I said, tell me something about your life. He said, oh, you do not want to hear. Very bad. I said, well, tell me something in your life. He said, well, when I was 8 years old and my brother was 9, 10 years old, our parents were massacred. And we escaped the massacre because we were hiding, but now we were alone. And somehow or other, I woke up one morning, we were sleeping in the forest, and my brother wasn't there. Now I was alone. And it was very difficult to eat, to sleep. Everything was difficult for me, but somehow or other, I didn't die. I lost a lot of weight. I got sick. But I ended up being saved by some French soldiers who sort of accepted me as accepted me. Although at that time I was only like 10 years old. And they gave me food, they gave me some clothes, and they took care of me. When I was 12, they lied and said I was like 18 and I became a soldier. And now there was war after some years, and I was in the French, army. There was 2 French armies. They were fighting with each other. And at one point, I ran out of ammunition, and I could only use my bayonet to fight. And the other guys, the adversaries, they also ran out of ammunition. They were also fighting just with bayonets. And I knocked one man down, and I was going to kill him. Put the bayonet right into his heart. And he said, "Oh, Mairik," which means, "Oh, my dear mother," in the Armenian language. And I was shocked. I said, "Are you Armenian?" He said, "Yes." He said, "What village did you come from?" And he said, "The same village as he came from." He said, "What's your name?" And he gave the same name as he had, right? Not his family name. And then he realized, this is my brother. So instead of killing him, they started hugging each other. You see. And this is, you'd be surprised, it happens more than you think. So this is this tragedy of life today, that people are ready to kill each other unknowing that they're actually related. Like, for example, the Russians and the Ukrainians are related. Everything about their cultures are almost the same. And they're killing each other. The Pakistanis and the Hindus are related, right? And you can go all over the world, you'll see that people that are related, they're killing each other. So you have to ask the question, how is this happening? It's by a false narrative of politicians and greedy people that are making up histories so that other people fight each other and kill each other. But everybody has a right, like Krishna, Krishna is not Pakistani, Krishna is not Hindu. Krishna is God for everybody. That's the way we should think, that we're all part of the same family. Achyuta Gotra, the family of Krishna. And we all basically have the same problems of life. We eat, we sleep, we mate, we defend, we get old, we die. So we have more things in common than not. And ultimately, we all have come from God. It doesn't matter what color you are or what language you speak. We all originally were with God or Krishna. So these are the things that we should discuss to override Hare Krishna. Namaste Saraswati Devi Guru A person becomes civilized when they realize that the same God is in the heart of everybody in the world. Krishna is in my heart, Krishna is in your heart, Krishna is in the heart of every living entity, from the ants all the way up to Brahma. Therefore, we're all in the same family, Achyuta Gotra. Therefore, we should have respect for all living entities. And we should treat each other as brothers and sisters. Because this body is temporary. It's not going to last forever. But we have a chance in the human body to understand our relationship with God. If we don't do that, we waste the human form of life and we'll go back to taking an animal form. Now, sometimes I've been in lectures where people say, well, what's wrong with becoming a dog? There's a lot wrong with it after you've been a human being, believe me. You really don't want to go back to become a dog or a snake or something like that. Say, no, not a snake, a dog. That doesn't matter. After being a human being, you don't want to go back into the animal world. You want to go forward to the spiritual world. So that's what we're teaching here, how to go back to Godhead. And if you come regularly, hear the lectures, chant Hare Krishna, dance, take prasadam, ask questions, then you will make tangible spiritual advancement. And you will learn to respect all people, because everyone is a son of God or a daughter of God. We're all in the same family, Krishna's family. So are there any questions anyone would like to ask? Yes. Those ashrams, or those designations, there's varnas and ashrams, yeah. They are fluid. It's not that if you're born a Sudra, you have to remain a Sudra the rest of your life. They're all fluid. Right.
But just now we read that Brahmanas are in the mood of goodness and Kshatriyas are in the mood of passion. So does that mean that for a proper functioning of a society, we need people in all the modes, like in the mode of goodness, passion and ignorance?
It's already there. You have intellectuals, you have military men, you have businessmen, and you have common workers. It's already there. You can't stop it because Krishna established the varnas and the ashramas. Now, like I said, but it's fluid. If you're born in a family of Sudras, that doesn't mean that you have to be a Sudra your whole life. If you get the proper education, you can advance. You can become a Brahmana. Now, Brahmana is not the end of it. The real goal is to become a Vaishnava. That's above Brahmana and so forth. Vaishnava means someone, like for example, I was born in a Malecha family. It's even worse than Sudra, because my family were eating meat and so forth. Right, so that I was a Yavana or a Malecha, very low class. Right? But by meeting Srila Prabhupada, my Gurudev, and associating with devotees, gave all those habits, bad habits, got rid of them. And I'm chanting Hare Krishna every day and following Krishna consciousness. So you see, there's the false Hindu caste system that has become adulterated in modern times. In other words, they say if you're born a Sudra, you're always a Sudra. It's not true. Anybody can become, can advance in life through education, and ultimately, more than a Brahmana, is a Vaishnava. Because a Vaishnava is completely dedicated to pleasing Krishna. He's not proud of being a Brahmana. He's not proud of being a Vaishnava. The Vaishnavas Vaishnava men and women are very humble and very simple. They live what you would call a minimalist life. Why? Because if you have a minimalist life, you have plenty of time for Krishna consciousness. If your life is very complicated, making a lot of money, and running here and there, and going on vacations, and this thing and that thing, then you don't have that time. But if you have a minimalist life, it doesn't mean that you're poor, but it means that you're not spending, let's say, 12 or 15 hours a day working to make money. See now, when you don't have money, you're worried. When you have a lot of money, you're worried. The cause of the worry is a little different. When you have a lot of money, you're worried about losing the money. When you have no money, you're worried about not having money, right? But both ways you're worried. They asked, what was his name? One of the richest people in the world in the 1950s. They said, "You have any worries?" He said, "Yes." He said, "What's your worries?" He said, "I'm worried about paying my 100,000 employees their monthly wages. Every month I'm worried about paying them." He had 100,000 workers, right? So there's no guarantee of being happy by being rich or being poor. But if you're Krishna conscious, it doesn't matter whether you're rich or poor, because you're going to use whatever you have in the service of Krishna. So Krishna accepts the offerings of a poor man as well as the offerings of a rich man. Right? There's no discrimination in that sense. So the poor man, maybe all he has is an apple to offer to Krishna. Krishna accepts it and gives it back as prasadam. And the rich man, he might have very rich food. If he offers it sincerely to Krishna, Krishna offers it back as prasadam. Right? So we should only eat prasadam. We should chant the names of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Hear lectures at the temple given by genuine devotees. Engage in Harinam Sankirtan and come and do seva in the temple, associate with devotees, and so forth. This is spiritual life. In our spare time, we should use it to do service in the temple. So the more you're active in serving Radha and Krishna, the more you'll see your life becomes easier, and you can actually feel the fact that you're being protected by the Lord. Yeah. Okay, so are there any other questions? Yes. Yes.
When did we stop seeing cow as that?
When did we stop what?
Looking at the cow that way, like when everything is pure and we started.
When you went to school and learned to eat meat, and did they ever teach you in school to protect cows? No. We teach that here. And it's very necessary. Why? Because Krishna is a cowherd boy. If you take care of cows, Krishna is going to take care of you. That people, what do they do in America? They kill cows massively. You know how many animals they eat in America every year? I think it's 55 trillion animals, if you count the fish and everything. But cows, they slaughter about 80 to 100 million cows a year in the United States. So why would they teach you to not eat a cow, right? They don't even talk about it. But we talk about it. It's very important to protect cows. And here, we bring the cow to the temple. The cow dung is pure. The cow urine is pure. Everything about the cow is pure. If he passes stool right now, they'll pick it up with their hand. He's not going to eat it, but they'll pick it up with their hand because it's not it's not like the stool of a dog. Don't touch the stool of a dog; it's contaminated. The stool of a cow is antiseptic. The urine of the cow is antiseptic. So, you can see how Krishna conscious, let's say, philosophy is different. It's taking into account that all living entities have the right to live. And all living entities have come from Krishna. And we have to be very careful what we do. Not especially never hurt a cow. And here, you look at him, Ramdas is so sweet, he's gentle, he's cuddling, you can cuddle him, he doesn't run away. So we're very fortunate to have, I think we have now around 60 cows now, and 3 different farms. And our milk is the best milk in the world. I don't know if you drink our milk. It doesn't taste like normal milk. Normal milk, after you taste our milk and then you drink normal milk, the normal milk tastes like water. Our milk, it has such a wonderful taste, So, this is why, because we have an obligation to protect cows as part of our Vedic Dharma, not kill them. And we have our own cow sanctuary for the cows that are not being milked, and the cows, and the bulls. So we're never going to kill the cows. Now someone would say, well, wait a minute, you can make money by killing the cows. Yes, that's true. But we're not interested in making money by killing cows because that's extremely violent and evil. We want to protect the cows. And believe me, by protecting cows, you become very prosperous and healthy, and you're protected by Krishna. So we protect cows, Krishna protects you. It's a very nice system. Yeah. Yeah.
So actually, I had read one article, and that young lady has written that. So she's from Kerala, Kerala state from India. So she has written that 3 generations before in their family, they had cows, and they are Hindu family. And because a lot of Christianity and Muslim, if the population is like like that in Kerala, wherever she belongs, so slowly in their area, they started to mingle with. They go to their marriage and whatever that social gathering happens, and these Hindus, they felt compelled to be part of them, and they started also eating the same thing. And this young lady has said, like when her grandma was there at that time, they had cow, and if a cow dies naturally, they would mourn for like 4 or 5 days at home, like normally as a human being died. And now in the same house, her mom is cooking cow's meat, and she was so sad, and she was feeling very upset about it. And because there is a Krishna temple somewhere nearby,
what they should do? Kill the mother and eat her. You know, it's very sad. I mean, India is really going down fast. It's very, very sad.
Maharaj, a few days back I was reading about like there's a person who is returned from he was done PhD here in the US and he went back and in Jaipur he is making like some good product from cow dung
Yeah.
and he's like it's more worth than 8,000 rupees a kg like the cow dung because he's making so many products for manure for some adhesive industries and all like a lot of things. So he educates other also how to uh, how cow dung can be used for different industries and it can be used for.
Everything about the cow is good. The urine is good. The stool is good. The bones are good. Everything about the cow is good. You know. Why? Because Krishna loves cows. He's a cowherd boy. He takes out his cows every day for to get nice fresh grass. So if you become a cow, let's say a person who has a cow and you protect the cow, your life will be very, very peaceful and happy. So it's a shame what happened to your, it's a girl like this lamenting how contaminated her family has become. You know.
She was feeling very helpless at home, and then probably it is like some Guruvayur temple or something that somewhere she goes there and she saw all these cows and she loves them. And,
They have cows in the temple, Guruvayur.
yeah.
Yeah, that's Kerala, right? Yeah. Well, there is still some dharma in India, thank God. You know. Yes.
Yeah, I was in the story, there's a very great sannyasi. So at the last moment, he sees just a baby, and he just take a birth of that beautiful baby. So if we love more cow, then in our next life we become the cow. Is it means that maybe we are going for the moksha, but we started loving more cow. We are very desperate about the cow, and we take the birth as a cow. Is it possible?
So that's the Jada Bharat story, not
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, you see, when you come to the temple, you learn to respect cows, and you can even, have a cow. But we also teach you to chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad Gita, and go on Sankirtan, and eat only Mahaprasadam. So it's not like you become completely engrossed in thinking about the cow. You're thinking more about Krishna and following the principles of Sanatana Dharma, which includes protecting cows. Right? But it's not that you're, let's say, a fanatic about cows and everything else doesn't count. It's part of our Dharma, Sanatana Dharma, to protect cows. Now, I never had a cow before. I grew up my whole life without a cow. It's only when I became a devotee that I realized how important cows are. And now we have like 60 cows. Right? And we protect them. We're never going to kill them. And when we bring the cow right here in the temple, I don't think they do that in other places in the United States. We do it.
That is a brilliant idea.
What?
Your idea of bringing Ramdas.
Yeah.
Because I remember one day I went to the farm. That was like a month and a half after Ramdas was born.
Yeah.
So that was the first time you went to the farm.
Yeah.
And then Maharaj came back. Like obviously he fell in love with Ramdas. But that same evening he
That's the whole point. That's the whole point. If you associate with such a friendly and cuddly, sweet animal, it's not like a dog. Dog's contaminated, you know. Ramdas is, cows, they're pure. Everything about the cow is pure. Right?
There are many videos. There is a one cow and lady is saying, "Come, come," but she's not. Cow is not coming. That cow baby. When she said by name, "Come," so she come and eat the prashadam. And at home they come. There's a such type of many cute, cute baby videos of cow babies here.
I didn't understand one word you said. What did you say?
In the YouTube reels, na,
In YouTube.
reels, yeah. There's just so many small reels of Vaishnavs home. So yeah, they bring the cow baby at their home, and they call. They didn't come, but they call with name.
Yeah.
Suppose that I call Ramdas, then Ramdas is coming with run and jumping like that.
They understand their names.
So, so that type of very very cute reels is there.
Yeah, Ramdas, Ramdas likes Janavatsal very much. So whenever he sees Janavatsal, he immediately goes to him and then hangs out with him. Because Janavatsal protected Ramdas, when just like a month ago it was very cold. Even now it's still cold. Whenever it's very, very cold, he took him to sleep with him in the house to protect him, because his mother was not really protecting Ramdas that much. Right? So whenever Janavatsal is there, Ramdas follows him because he considers him like his father. You see, the relationship with a cow like that is very necessary in order to civilize your mind and your senses, to be very, very, let's say, conscious of the importance of associating with cows. Very important. Yeah. Okay, so it's almost 9 o'clock, and time to go take rest and wake up early in the morning, early to bed, early to rise. Makes everyone healthy, wealthy, and wise. So we will stop right now. Thank you very much for coming. All glories to Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Hare Krishna.